Hello and welcome to the Earnings Review, your tidbits into company financials and operational insights. We are by the sidelines of an annual general meeting for the POSB, the People's Own Savings Bank, where we just witnessed the results presentation by the Chief Executive Officer. Now, in just a moment, we will be having an interview with the Board Chairman, Mr. Izon Ndlovu, the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Admo Kandlela, and of course the Finance Director, Mr. Changunda. Don't go anywhere. A strong set of results that have been presented in as far as the 2021 financial period is concerned, and of course the half year in that very regard, rebounding in inflation-adjusted terms from a loss position in inflation-adjusted terms for 2020. What were the major drivers of that?
If you look at it from 2020 to 2021, in terms of our growth and the deposit base, and also the stock market, and then our foreign currency earnings, we did actually have lots of forex earnings in terms of generated from our external sources and also from our internal sources. The foreign exchange income was quite a lot. So you find, in terms of monetary gains, there was a lot of financial gains in that.
Thank you. Mr. Changunda, a greater chunk of the revenue generated by the bank actually coming through your fee and commission income, and it seems to have been a sustained trajectory over the past set of years. Is there something that we're going to see going into the future, and how do you see the bank progressing where that is concerned?
Okay, I would say I agree with you that our significant source of non-funded income came from fees and commissions. Going forward, our focus is to generate more income from investment properties side, with quite a significant portfolio investment properties. As long as there's hyperinflation, you will see us adjusting our accounts with fair values, because it's part of our strategy to hedge against inflation using investment properties. So you are right. Part of it came from non-funded income in terms of fees and commissions, because our clients are transacting on digital platforms, and we have 1 million customers. So it's quite easy to generate non-funded income from fees and commissions.
Mr. Kandlela, there was a recurrent theme to the effect that there's been a significant chunk of revenue that was generated from the foreign currency perspective in that very regard. What were the major drivers of that very development?
Obviously, you notice that from our depositor side, we have, at the end of June, we're close to $9 million. Partly because of government payments to civil servants, you find some of those depositors are literally saving their accounts. And also the money transfer business is bringing quite a lot of money for us in this country. We have over 5 MNOs, money transfer agencies who actually do bring in money through that business. So, and also our exporters will bring in quite a lot of money, which is resident in our counterparty bankers also. And Afrexim Bank. That's part of the money that we have.
I realize. Now, to you, Mr. Ndlovu, several changes taking place within the bank. There was a presentation with regards to the shift in terms of the demographics for the bank, with an increase in terms of a younger population as opposed to the historic trends. What does this spell for the bank going forward?
I would say that spells a future for the bank. You know, the younger generations are the future of the bank. At the moment, it's not quite correct that the dominant age group is the younger. It is the older. But the younger are emerging as a group that is increasing, which means the bank has got a life into the future. It is also emanating from our digital drive, because the younger people are quite affair with the digital media that we're using. So they like it. So if we go in digital, the younger people will come in numbers.
I realize. Now let's talk about the privatization exercise
Yes.
that has been on the table for many years, and there are indications, of course, from the presentation that was just had that that could be happening soon. Are there timelines with regards to this very intended privatization?
There's always been timelines right from the beginning, but we missed the target more than once now. Because of the volatile nature of our situation and our economy. But yes, we had a timeline ending 30th June this year, which we recently missed. We are at the moment looking at least wrapping up the project. It's quite advanced, mind you. We're looking at wrapping up the project by the end of the year, December.
I realize.
Yeah.
So with the December target, what kind of a partner are you looking to get on board?
We were looking for a technical partner, cum investor, somebody who has got the same sort of aspirations, developmental aspirations as ourselves. That's what we are looking for.
I realize. Misty Kandlela, you did, of course, indicate that there is a higher cost-to-income ratio for POSB as opposed to your counterparts, who seem to be streamlining their banking operations in terms of brick and mortar structures as there is an increase in terms of the digital footprint. Is this anything on your consideration table, given you've got 32 branches and 300 agents spread across the country?
Very interesting question you ask us. You see, brick and mortar and digital, we actually have a saying that we believe, you see, from the question that was asked by the minister in terms of pensioners,
Right.
you see, those people prefer physical. At some point in time, when they come and get their money, they want to literally get their money physical. So you'd see a transition from the physical branches to a digital network. Yeah? This is a fusion of the physical and the digital, and then ultimately digital. It could be exactly the reason why you find our cost-to-income structure is a bit on the higher side, because of the pace at which we have to cater for these people. If you know the Japanese case, where you're finding that people, the elderly, average living age in Japan is 100 years.
Right.
Now you come with digital, most of those guys are actually resisting that kind of digital. Because, oh, no way. So you may find that's what we're afflicted with within the Zimbabwean economy. With the elderly more or less resisting the digital, still preferring physical. So you find we have to transition that before you get to the actual digital.
Pretty interesting. Mr. Changunda, interest rates are very much on the high side in Zimbabwe, one of the highest, in fact, the highest in the world, with the policy rate at 200%. What does this mean for the lending operations of the bank?
Okay, well, on the face of it, you could say the bank will make money from that rate of 200%. But the real issue is that very few companies in this country are able to sustain high interest rates in terms of covering those costs. So I would look at it as a temporary situation. It's not going to be permanent. Very soon, if inflation is managed, you will see lending rates coming down to reflect that money supply is contained. But when you compare to the return on investment that an investor would want to get, normally it has to be above inflation. So if inflation is above 200%, and we are lending at 200, it means they are negative, real interest rates affecting investors. So it must be a case where interest rates are above, above inflation, so that investors get a real return on investment. If you look at Zambia, Their inflation is around 18%, and their interest rates are above 24-25%, indicating that investors are getting a real return on their investments.
And just to pop a little further, in terms of your loan book, what portion of it is actually in foreign currency?
We don't have a significant portion of our loan book in foreign currency because in the past you would lend money to a sub-borrower in US dollars, and there wasn't a law precluding the borrower to pay off in US dollars or in foreign currency. But now there's a statutory instrument that requires a borrower to pay in the same currency that he would have borrowed or she would have borrowed. So we are now focusing on introducing, in fact we've launched US dollar based products so that borrowers can borrow in US dollars going forward.
Mr. Kandlela, with regards to meeting the minimum capital requirements set in place by the central bank, where does the bank stand?
In fact, you notice every time the central bank speaks about minimum capital requirements, it says for every commercial bank except POSB. But we don't want to live by that. We actually want to aspire to be like the other banks. And we actually had met the minimum target, the minimum capital target, is a bit of 20 million. And the misfortune is, if a greater portion of our money is in Zim dollars, you find as the depreciation comes in, we slightly lag backwards. But we had met that target by end of last year.
Thank you. Lastly, Mr. Ndlovu, with structural changes taking place and a whole lot of activity taking place, what is the outlook for the bank over the next 2 years?
Right, the bank, we expect it to grow big. At the moment, it is well balanced for its size, but the market has got potential. We can underwrite a lot more business. We can involve ourselves a lot more in developmental projects. Therefore, with the privatization that we're talking about, it will be accompanied by some capital raise so that we are bigger. We are balanced as we are a stable bank, but we can be 2 times, 3 times, 10 times our size and serve a bigger market. And it might not happen in 2 years, but it's coming.
Pretty much copacetic. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and thank you for allowing us to have this conversation.
Equity Live presents the complete online interactive presentation solution. Hosting AGMs, media and analyst briefings has never been this simple, efficient and affordable. Communicate globally through a combination of high-definition video and your prepared multimedia presentation from any location of your choice. Interact with your invited participants from all over the world in question and answer sessions and voting sessions in real time on our safe, secure and affordable platform. Contact Equity Live for a free customized demonstration. Equity Live, real-time presentation solutions.
There you have it, of course, from the management and of course the board chair of the POSB. A privatization exercise being expected, the bank rebounding into profitability, and a whole series of changes that have taken place as a result of the digital exercises that have been implemented by the bank. That's a wrap from the earnings review team. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, of course, on our social media handles at Equity Access. Till next time, ciao.